They said 4 words, and your whole day changed. Not because of what they meant, because of what you decided it meant. Still, this is not sensitivity. This is not being too soft. This is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do, scanning every interaction for one thing. What does this mean about me? Still. A cold reply, a dismissive tone, a friend who didn't answer. None of it arrives with a label, so your brain writes one, and it almost always writes the same word. Me. Still. And once it writes that word, you replay the sentence. You reread the message. You rehearse what you should have said. Hours later, sometimes days later. Still. Meanwhile, the other person has already moved on. They don't remember the tone you're still decoding. They were never building a case against you. You were the only one still in the room. Still. This costs you more than a bad afternoon. It costs you presence. It costs you the next 3 conversations, because part of you is still arguing with the last one. Still. Psychologists call part of this the spotlight effect, discovered by researcher Thomas Gilovich. Still. We believe we are noticed, judged, and thought about far more than we actually are. Not because we are self-obsessed, because the brain treats self-relevant information as urgent. Still. So when something ambiguous happens, your brain doesn't search for the calmest explanation. It searches for the one involving you. Because for most of human history, a threat to your standing in the group was a threat to your survival. Still. Ambiguity used to be dangerous, so your brain stopped tolerating it. It fills the silence with a story, and the fastest story available is always the one where you're the subject. Still. Here is what actually happened in that moment. Someone else's weather moved through your day. Still. Their tone was not a message written for you. It was a symptom of a sleepless night. A fight before you saw them. A stress that started long before you existed in their morning. Still. You did not get rained on because the sky was aiming at you. The sky was just doing what the sky already does. Still. Most people you meet are not thinking about you. They are standing in their own weather and carrying it into every room they enter. Still. Some days that weather is calm. Some days it's a storm they didn't choose either. Either way, it started before you, and it will keep moving after you. Still. You wouldn't blame yourself for the rain. You'd just decide whether to bring an umbrella. Still. So here is the fix. One question. Asked the moment it stings. Still. Whose weather is this? Still. Not, what does this mean about me? Whose weather is this? Still. The moment you ask it, you remember something your brain forgot. They arrived already carrying something. You just happened to be standing there. Still. This doesn't mean you excuse everything. Some things do need a conversation. Some patterns are actually about you. But you can't tell the difference until you stop assuming first and start asking instead. Still, you are not the center of every reaction in the room. You are someone who lets other people's weather pass through without becoming your forecast. Still, their storm is real. It is simply not about you. Still, Epictetus wrote it directly. People are not disturbed by things. They are disturbed by their opinion of things. Still, the tone was the thing. The meaning you assigned it. That was the opinion. Still, change the opinion. The disturbance follows it out the door. Still, the next time it stings, before the story builds itself, ask the one question. Whose weather is this? Still, if this explained a moment you have been carrying longer than you should have, drop one word in the comments. Weather. The next video goes into why silence from someone feels louder than anything they could have said, and what your nervous system is actually doing in the gap where their reply should be. Subscribe to Vision Vortex. Every video here is one thing, helping you think more clearly, feel more in control, and live without the noise. Still, lead, become.